Thanks so much for clicking on the channel. My name is Leah, and let's talk about Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 7. Is it season? Yeah, season 7, episode 3. Shenanery. Okay? Shenanery. So let's get a little spicy before we get into the actual review. So we had a few tweets that came across my timeline, which I feel like I want to talk about. So the first one is coming from Chris, and Chris had this to say. He posted this actually on I want to say Sunday when the episode was airing, and he said this. He said, "I am now fully convinced these women were bored as the F word, got nothing going on, and just had to make up some BS. In no way do I believe production had anything to do with this. Just some miserable ass women on their own. Hashtag RHOP." Then another lady, I don't even know if this is a lady, I would say a fan, came up and said, tweeted this, and they said, "Whatever at Miss Mia Thornton got to add about at Chris Bassett 33 is a lie. That B lies about everything. Why even keep her on the show? Sick of her getting away with all this damn lying." And then Mia responded by saying, "LOL, probably, I don't remember." And then Chris responds to Mia saying, "Not cool at all." So then Mia quote tweets this and says, "Nope, I felt stares for sure, but not in an inappropriate manner. Honestly felt insecure because I was so skinny, pale, and frail from being sick. Nothing but love and respect for you and Candy Gal. So sorry for even saying it. Hashtag blame it on the hashtag margarita." She lied too much for no reason. That colossal foot lady lies too much. Okay? So then Candace had these 2 tweets to say that really stood out to me. She said, "Word to the wise, when embarking on a egg freezing journey, don't do it while shooting a show with desperately poor, unfortunate souls who will cry sexual assault for ratings. That was some of the hardest terrain I've ever climbed. Realizing outside factors could derail my journey." And then the final tweet that I was like, dang, they might not be able to come back from this, is her saying, "Even when I tried to let it go, I couldn't let it go. I'm never letting it go, especially after seeing the smirks and added hot sauce. It's foul, disgusting, hurtful, and desperate and evil, and I can never forgive it. And I've tried, really. Hashtag RHOP." So honestly, I'm kind of with Candace on this one. This to me, this whole storyline with Giselle and the inappropriateness of that she's alleging with Chris, I do feel like this was a misfire from production, because production does have the ability to do storylines. Like, they sit down and they storyboard, like, this is what you're going to be talking about. Everybody has their own producer that helps them produce their storyline. And I feel like if there was no proof, because we have proof with Michael, we don't have proof with Chris. To bring this up and then for Giselle to constantly say, "Oh, nothing happened, but he made me feel uncomfortable." I feel like this was a misfire, because now we're getting into very dangerous territory where you got one person, Candace, feeling like y'all trying to imply that my husband was out here trying to steal people's panties, trying to take their goodies. And it's like, if Giselle didn't have nothing more than this, then y'all should have told her to come up with a better storyline. That's just what I think. But let's get into this review. Y'all. So the episode opens up where it left off, where we got Candace in the bathroom with her triangle tissues and she dabbing. Candace just needs to come out of line with like triangled cloths, and she's like dabbing her tear ducts, and she's just like, "Y'all not about to do this. Y'all not about to try my man with this." And you got the PA there. I didn't like his energy, because I just feel like this is like such a serious thing, and for him to be like, "Oh, like y'all both be saying slick stuff, y'all all say slick stuff," but I was like, this is not slick. This is like something that can damage somebody's character, so you should understand that. But I'm not gonna give him too much, because I know like it's his job to keep the mess going. He is a producer. He's producing a scene. But I ain't like his energy. I ain't even gonna lie. I didn't. But Candace is like, yeah, I'm out. Like, she's like, bro, I'm out. Because she's like, y'all hug Michael Darby. Like, if you're trying to like malign my husband or discredit my husband's name or throw salt on his name, y'all have Michael Darby for that. The man that y'all have actual camera footage of him groping somebody without their consent. You have audio of him doing it. You have somebody who filed a complaint with him. So it's like you have all these things, and these women gladly get up and hug Michael. Gladly be like, oh, I miss you, Michael. Mainly Giselle. But my husband is the issue. My husband made you feel uncomfortable. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, is this what we doing? And she was like, Candace and her Christine was like, you know what? I'm on my yoga mat. I got things to lose. And I'm not about to do it with this lady. Not today, Satan. Not today, neck. And not today, ankles. I said, you better say it. You better say it. And she packed up her things and she got in her car and she peeled out. And the crazy thing is, like, Giselle knows she's wrong. She knows she's wrong. Giselle's sitting there over there looking dumpy as hell, eating her like cupcake. And they're like, what's wrong with Candace? Like, what's going on? Like, everyone's like, what's going on? And Giselle's like, oh, I don't know. I think there's something wrong with her stomach. She knows what she's doing is out of pocket, but she gonna run with it till the wheels fall off. And I want to say this. I really want to say this. Y'all don't have to like Candace. I get it. Y'all don't have to like Candace. Like, I like Candace. I've told y'all that before. I like Candace. I enjoy Candace. And I get that other people don't. I also get that there's a lot of characters on reality shows that people don't like. And it doesn't all the time have to deal with like colorism. So I'm not saying if you don't like Candace, it's dealing with colorism. The colorism like response comes in with the way you guys react as it pertains to Candace versus the other cast. Y'all be telling on yourselves, but that's not what the conversation I'm trying to have. What I have an issue with is people defending Michael pasty, always looking wet Darby, who be touching people without their consent, and we have proof of it. We have audio proof. There was a statement filed against him. There's visual proof from like season 1 of him touching somebody in the background that they have proof of, that people have pointed out and put all over the internet. And that person being like, whoa. And y'all are on the internet defending him because you don't like Candace. That's when I look at y'all and be like, y'all are trash and out of your minds. Because that, and it's women doing it. Like, I expect that from men, whether they are gay or straight. I expect that from y'all because misogyny goes both ways. But when it comes to women doing it, I'm looking at y'all like, oh, y'all are gutter snipes. Y'all are straight up trash. Because them the women that will see somebody put their hands on you and act like they don't know what's going on. Like, oh, I don't want to get in it. But you seen this man elbow me in the face. Like, I was just like, it's people on the internet defending him. This one lady was like, oh my gosh, why is Candace always throwing a temper tantrum and mentioning Michael Darby? She didn't even throw a temper tantrum. She legit she collected her things and left. She told them people, keep my fourth wall break in this. Like, don't take my out. She told y'all that. It's not a temper tantrum. Just letting y'all know this is real. Y'all not about to play with mines. Y'all not about to play with my man. And I'm just looking at all these people, especially women, and being like, oh, y'all are trash. Dumpster juice. Because you cannot like somebody and still champion them when they're right. There is a lot of people out here that I don't like, but when I see, especially when it's like celebrities, but like when they right, I'm like, you know what? They had a point. I'm gonna give you that because you had a point. So I'm just looking at people championing Michael, and I'm like, ugh, disgusting. Okay, so Candace leaves. Everybody is like, what's going on? So then they shift the conversation where Giselle and Mia decide to have a conversation where Giselle feels some type of way that Mia didn't respond. And Mia looked at her and said, yeah, no, I wasn't responding. So then not Ashley, but Robin's like, well, why don't you two go, what's it called? go into the other room where Giselle and Candace had the conversation and have a conversation and they talk. And while that's happening, Wendy and Robin get into it. And I'm glad Sharice was there, because Sharice was like, y'all need therapy, because this ain't got nothing really to do with Mia. Like, Robin still feels some type of way about how Wendy came at her season 6. So now she gonna hold on to that into season 7. And I get where Robin is coming from, to an extent where she's like, y'all always grouping us together, but it's not like, you can't group us together. Like, Giselle is Giselle, I'm Robin. As well as when Robin was like, what Robin say? Robin was just like, all of y'all had something to say. All of y'all felt like Mia was lying. And Wendy's whole thing is like, I might have felt like she was lying, but I ain't gonna confront the lady and come in her face and be like, she's a liar like y'all did. I'm not gonna do that. I just lost a friend to cancer, so I'm not gonna do that. And they're going back and forth. Wendy is telling Robin to stand 10 toes down in what she said. Robin is like, I am standing in it. And she stands up and kind of starts to walk towards Wendy. Sharice has to put her arm out. Wendy's like, sit down, sit down. Robin's like, okay, let it be known. Wendy asked me to sit down, so I'm sitting down because she the queen of everything. And everyone's just kind of like, it's not that, like, I'm just like, y'all really over here fighting over colossal feet? We fighting over colossal feet right now. And I'm just like, this is a mess. This is a mess. So while they're having their argument, you then have Giselle and Mia talking, and Giselle actually like musters up an I'm sorry and let's hug. But I feel like Giselle only decided to muster up I'm sorry and let's hug because she wanted an ally. I think Giselle is trying to like set the stage because she's starting to realize like things ain't gonna be working in her favor, because a good girlfriend Robin is not like riding with this train, because she just like, this ain't it, sis. This ain't it. Ashley was with you, but then Ashley cut that in the middle and kept it pushing. She cut that in the middle and kept it pushing. So Mia was just like, I was taken aback by it. And then Mia takes a dig at Wendy, talking about, I didn't think Miss New Booty Wendy was gonna defend me. And I'm like, you're attacking the person that defended you, trying to be slick, trying to still click up with Giselle and Robin, because you know how they feel about Wendy. But Wendy is the one defending you. That's why when Wendy had the hot mic moment where she was like, oh, everybody knows she lying, but who cares? We know she's a liar. And everyone, I'm like, so when Wendy said it, I laughed, because it's like, that's what you get. Because we know Mia is a liar. We know Mia is a liar. A known liar. So after Giselle and Mia, makeup, they sit down and you see Robin invite everybody to Fun Day except Wendy and her kids. And Wendy was like, oh, I feel like that's a character flaw that you would not invite my kids. Like, I draw the line at kids. And y'all might not like what I got to say, but I didn't mind what Robin did. I'm not even gonna lie. I do think her getting up and walking towards Wendy was out of pocket. Like, girl, we're at a dance studio. What you doing walking up on somebody? But her not inviting the kids, I didn't really mind it, because it's like, if I don't like you, I don't want your kids around. That's just what it is. I do think inviting everybody in front of Wendy and not inviting everybody in front of Wendy, I feel like was wrong. But not to invite Wendy and her kids, I don't think is wrong, because if I don't like you and I don't want you around, I don't want your children around either. Like, keep your kids, your husband over there. Like, it is what it is. Until we are cool, then our families can, mingle. But if we're not cool, then I don't want you around. I don't. That's just what it is. But I do think it was wrong for her to invite everybody in front of her. Like, she could have did that differently. She could have sent out a text and just not added Wendy and kept it pushing. But to do it in front of her was mean. It was mean. It was a dirty move. But like, I don't think it's dirty for her to be like, I don't want you and your kids around me. It is what it is. So they ended there. And then we have a scene of Candace actually her herself the shot. She's on FaceTime with her nurse, and Chris isn't there because he has to work. But she grabs her, her belly meat, and she hits the shot, and she did it, and she said it really didn't even hurt. I think it's like, she doesn't have to share this part with us, but the fact that she did, I think that says a lot about Candace wanted to take people on this journey, because I've never seen anybody retrieve their eggs. I've seen people do IVF. I don't think IVF is the same thing as egg retrieval, when you gotta because IVF is the same. Right, y'all. So we have a scene with Karen and Ray at the nail salon. I don't care about this whole storyline about Ray possibly being jealous that Karen still looking good and him. Like, I don't care. I'm sorry, I'm not talking about that. I don't care, because I feel like it's a storyline. Oh, excuse me, y'all. I feel like it's a storyline because you had I think season 5. Karen was talking about how Ray didn't love her. Season 6, y'all are getting recommitted to each other. Now we're on season 7, and you out here trying to get some on the side candy. I don't care no more. I'm gonna need Karen to come back with different storylines, like way different storyline for season 8. Like, I really don't care about y'all. Either stay together or not stay together. Have your peoples on the side or not. Either way, I'm sick of this storyline. So when we move on to Ashley and her brother, they're going to meet the realtor. We find out the realtor, I think her name was like Jasmine or something. She is, she works with Michael. She knows Michael. We end up finding out that Michael, like, that technically the story that Michael's been telling Ashley about not saying that the divorce, saying that they were getting a divorce, not making it public or anything like that, would hinder them, possibly getting a loan. And then the realtor lady's like, no, like, everything's fine. Like, y'all would be good together, even if y'all want to buy this home together. So y'all would be fine. And Ashley looking like, face. And honestly, y'all, I feel like this, like I said, I do feel like this is a storyline. And I'm also questioning the money that Michael got. And I'm questioning the money that Michael got. I don't believe Ashley being stupid where she don't really know how much this man makes. I do believe she don't know how much her bills are, but I do know she knows how much this man makes. And then she tried to muster up these fake tears when she was trying to cry with her brother, when she was like, I never lived alone. And I'm like, y'all, I'm calling BS. And the reason why I'm calling BS is because I know people that lived in Arlington. Like, I grew up in the DMV area. I've told y'all that before. I'm the V in the DMV. I lived in Virginia. I had friends that lived in Arlington. I know I said the last episode, I think that said they were trying to get homes in Annandale or something. But like, I had friends that lived in that area, like Arlington, what's it called? Great Falls, what's that other place? Arlington, Great Falls. I was about to say Concord Mills, but that's Charlotte. It's Fairfax and all that stuff, like Woodbridge area, Dumfries and all that. Like, I knew people that lived in that area, or like in like McLean and all that stuff. So it's like, I'm looking at the homes that she's looking at, and I'm like, sis, just get a townhouse at this point, because the house that they were looking at, it was a nice house, but I was like, this is a starter home. And I mean, I get it. It would just be Ashley and her kids, her 2 boys. So it'd be perfect for Ashley. But if we keep saying that Michael is this millionaire, he's worth like $20 million, I'm expecting him to set Ashley up so she doesn't have to worry about nothing. He don't have to worry about nothing. Ashley annoying him. But we're looking at these homes, and I'm like, a lot of my friends had homes like this, or had homes in that area that were like 2 times or 3 times their size, and they were with a single father or a single mother. And their parent worked for the government. And I know they weren't making like millions of dollars working for the government. They were probably making 6, maybe 7 figures, depending on what they was doing. You know, the parents don't be telling us what they was doing, but we just know we living in a nice house and we ain't got to want for nothing. But they weren't millionaires. Like, we are like, and so I'm just kind of like, why are we looking at these homes? So I'm just looking at, like, is Michael trying to like cheat Ashley in the sense of like, girl, I'm just set you up in this little house and you just gonna have to shut up and be quiet? But it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like this whole storyline is chaotic because it's like, it's not making sense to me. It's like, does Michael have money? Are you doing this just to have a home? Like, I don't really think she's going to divorce him. I'm waiting for her to like sign on the dotted line and divorce him. Like, I genuinely want to see her sign on that line and be like, me and Michael are like, we're done. We're kaputs. We moving on. I don't think just making an announcement that you're getting a divorce signifies that you're getting a divorce. We've seen a lot of couples, like celebrity couples and couples in our own lives that be like, oh, we're separated, we're getting a divorce, and then maybe a year or two later they find a way to reconcile through therapy or becoming better like separately and things working out. So I'm just like, just because you announce it don't mean nothing to me. I just feel like this is a fraudulent storyline and I don't like it because you're playing in my face. Ashley and Karen are playing in my face and I don't appreciate it. I don't. I really don't. We then have this scene with Robin and Juan. Robin's new house is actually really nice. It's really lovely. She sits down with Rob. She sits down with Juan. They go over this prenup. Juan was about to cuss Robin out. Y'all know, like, Juan has told Robin multiple times he does not like being on camera. He has said that multiple times that he does not like being on camera. And when Robin be trying to play with him and have these moments on camera, Juan be looking at her like, I done told you I don't like to do these cameras. And I think I even heard that Juan doesn't even like watch the show, even though he's on it. So she's like, do you want to, like, I want to have a prenup. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to make more money than you anyway. And then when they ask her about it, she's like, I don't think that's what he said, but if that's what he said, you know how men are. My thing is, like, I don't fault Robin for wanting to protect herself and then finding out that they did sign a prenup earlier on in their relationship before they got a divorce. It's just that she ain't get nothing because they were broke. I just feel like these kind of conversations are not the conversations you have online, but then again, it's your life. Do you, boo-boo? But, Juan just don't be wanting to be on camera. And he even said he agreed to it. He said, just you do the paperwork. And we figure out what you get, what in the evident if we do break up, and keep it pushing. Like, just present the man with the paperwork. As long as it's fair, it's good to go. We then have this scene with Wendy where I guess she's having issues with her natural hair. She's balding at the crown of her head due to stress. I don't really feel that bad for Wendy. And the reason why is because a lot of this stress is added on stress that Wendy is causing herself. Last season, Wendy's whole thing was like, I don't want to work in academia anymore. I don't really want to do certain things because that's not my passion. As an African woman, I've been taught that, like, I have to be an overachiever. I have to go. But I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to instill that in my kids. And it's kind of like you are. Like, I know those habits are hard to break, but you're the one contributing to your own stress now. You're a grown adult with 3 kids and a husband. Your husband's telling you you don't have to really do this stuff. You already have the candle line. You could just sit and figure that out and make sure that is successful before you try to jump on something else. Now you're trying to do this lounge, as well as you still are doing online correspondence, like with the news and things of that nature, as well as you're doing speaking engagements. Like, you're the one stressing yourself out, and you're a mom and a wife. Like, you're doing that. Like, honestly, I think it is also a storyline for Wendy trying to do this restaurant with Peter, because I'm like, you can't do this restaurant with Peter without actually being involved. And then for Peter to be like, you got to put up that much money and you won't get in a turnaround on your investment with your investment for like 2 years. Like, if you don't have the money to do that, then don't do it. Like, you don't have to do this lounge. If anything, if Wendy was as smart as she says she is, she would build up her candle business, make that business great and for what it is. And then she would use that money that she gets from that to sow into other business ventures, as well as continue to teach if she wants to teach, do her speaking engagements, and then be like an on-air correspondent. Like, Wendy is stressing herself out. She's stressing herself out. Like, you're adding it on to yourself. Now, I'm not happy the lady is losing her hair because, you know, hair is important to a lot of women and even men. So I'm like, that sucks. But it's like, girl, if you don't want to, like, if you want that to stop happening, the doctor told you that, like, stress causes inflammation. Stress causes your body to suck nutrients out of certain parts of your body. And right now it's doing it to your hair. You better hope it stays with your hair and it's not other bodily organs. Because at this point, you're going to run yourself into the ground. And it's your fault because you don't have to do this because the man you married is telling you you don't have to do it. So stop doing it. Stop doing it. So let's move on to LieMia. out here lying again. All right, so then we have this moment where Robin and Mia are hooking up. Since Mia and Giselle cleared the air, Robin and Mia are going to clear the air about the whole spring fling cancer, not cancer situation. They sit down and Robin gets straight to it. Robin was like, do you got cancer or you don't have cancer? Mia's like, no, I don't. I got a few biopsies and we're still waiting for the results. So, but Robin's like, but you don't have cancer, right? And she's like, no. And Robin's whole thing is like, do you not see how your post was like alarming and confusing? Like, and Robin even said, like since you post that, it's kind of like you have to come back and update the people because now people are worried and concerned. And I was with Robin on this one. Like, people are worried and concerned because now it's like, okay, do you got it or you don't got it? And you like, you're not like saying if you have it or not. It is sus. It's wrong. Like, I don't get it. I don't get that. I really don't get that. Like, it is wrong. Like, you not saying if you have it or not, that is wrong. Because it's like, no, are people, what's the word I'm looking for? People aren't owed that, but you kind of made it seem like you putting it online kind of makes it so that we are owed that, because now you got people sending you well wishes and condolences and you're saying you're leaving at a cliffhanger where you're like, you don't know if you have it or not. So the conversation continues. They've like smoothed things over and then they start talking about Candace leaving the party. On top of Robin sharing with Mia about like, supposedly Chris slid into Ashley's DMs, and then the whole situation where Giselle felt uncomfortable in New Jersey at the reunion. And then Mia's like, well, I got something to add. So Mia says that Chris was staring at her. She like can feel when men are staring at her. The man was not even staring at her. They have video proof, and the banner says Chris not looking at Mia. Then they show another video, Chris still not looking at Mia. All the while you got Mia in the background. Get it, Karen. Get it, Ray. Go, G. And I'm like, you just blatantly lied, Colossal Feet. Like the part, like, oh, I can't take when people lie for no reason. Like I've said before, people lie. I understand when people lie. Some people lie for safety reasons. Some people lie to gain something. And it's like Mia is lying so she can add her 2 cents in, so she could be like, oh, but I'm a part of this too. Like, I'm gonna lie and be a part of the group as well and say he did this to me when the man didn't do nothing. And excuse me, y'all. It's just like, why did you lie? Why did you lie? Like, what's the reason of you lying? Like, it's just mad disrespectful. And it's just like, this is why people think you're a liar. Because you blatantly be lying for no reason. Like, that's the part that kills me. Like, you didn't even have to add to this conversation. You could have still been in the conversation and like talked about it and be like, well, does Candace know? But to be like, well, I got something to add. Same, that lady get on my nerves. That lady gets on my nerves. And you be wanting to like Mia. Like, I'll say I want to like Mia because there's moments where Mia is funny to me. The faces she makes, they're funny to me. And sometimes she has cute little moments, but then she does these types of things and you're like, I can't like you because you're full of it and you lie constantly. And that's not cute. It's not. I can't. So we then have 2 conversations going on at the same time. You see Karen and Giselle at Karen's home, and then Robin, Chris, and Candace at a restaurant. So Karen and Giselle. Karen talks to Giselle about what's happening. She said, well, Mia told me about what's been going on between Chris and Candace and you. And Giselle basically reshapes her story. Because in the beginning, it was Chris wanted to talk to me. I went to my hotel room. I didn't know that my glam wasn't there. So I was uncomfortable because Chris knew my glam wasn't there. And we had a conversation, but nothing happened. Nothing ill was said to me. When you're having a conversation with Karen, you come in there and you're saying, well, he wanted to have a conversation with me. We left the door open. And no, Chris said they left the door open. I'll get to that part. But no, Giselle was like, we had a conversation. The door was open. I told him like, oh, could you go and see if they, if they can, like, if they're ready for me to come back on stage. Chris immediately does that. Karen asks, did he, did he say anything inappropriate to you? Did he touch you? And Giselle says again, no and no. So then Karen's looking at her like, well, why bring it to camera if he didn't do that? So then Karen shares with us, because the only thing that bothered me about this conversation, that Karen immediately was like, Chris owes you an apology. He don't owe that lady nothing. He don't owe that lady nothing. And this is not me saying that Giselle didn't have a right to be uncomfortable, because if you're uncomfortable, you're uncomfortable. But what bothers me about this is you waited almost 5 to 6 months to then bring this on camera when it's been told to us that you've been in Candace and Chris's presence. You've eaten at their home. You hung out with them before the cameras. Now all of a sudden he an issue. You talk about that man's penis all the time. You always trying to be in his face, but he made you uncomfortable, and now we trying to make it a moment. Like, girl, go on. And the thing about it is, like, if you really had an issue with him and you felt uncomfortable, the best course of action to me would then be you, Candace, and Chris sit down and you tell him how you felt. And I guarantee you Chris probably would have said sorry, because when they had Chris in his green screen, Chris even said, like, I try my best to, like, not make people uncomfortable, but I know people have things that have happened, so I understand. Him saying that lets me know, had Giselle came to him and said, like, yo, that kind of made me feel uncomfortable, he probably would have said sorry. Then we get Karen telling a story about how she was one of the husbands on the show, low key, I think is Chris. Because who other husband ain't been on this? Like, what other husband is not on this show anymore? It's been 3 years. Allegedly, I feel like she talking about Chris, because I'm like, it can't be G. I don't know. It might be Michael. Low key, it might be Michael or Chris, because it can't be G. It's not Chris. It's not Juan. And it's not Ray. It's not her own husband. So I'm like, who are we talking about? It's either Chris, big boy, or it's Michael, allegedly. But Karen basically said that the person hugged her so tight that her breasts were in her back. She felt really uncomfortable. She said the person was drunk. She went to her husband and her pastor, and I think they actually talked to the couple, and then they deaded it. And I'm like, that's what you're supposed to do. If nothing happened in that way, then that's what you're supposed to do. But I don't agree with Giselle thinking that she is owed an apology. She ain't owed nothing. Giselle is owed nothing. So then we have the whole situation with Chris, Candace, and Robin. Chris, like, they're trying to, like, Robin walks up, and you can tell that Chris and Candace are looking at Robin like, don't come over here with the BS. And Robin's like, not y'all, no, like, give me a hug. Like, I'm good, we good. And Chris gives her a hug. Chris even says, like, I don't even be trying to hug y'all. Like, I like to hug y'all, but I let y'all initiate a hug. Like, I ain't gonna hug you. You gonna have to hug me. And then Giselle, like, Robin is saying, like, well, Giselle told me that night she was uncomfortable, but I told her I don't think that there was anything like that. And like I said, Giselle has a right to be uncomfortable, but the way she is trying to push this message out ain't right. It's not right. It's wrong. It's really wrong. So then Chris is just kind of like, I'm taking it back. Like, the words that she's using to describe what happened are very, like, messed up and dangerous words. So then Candace is just kind of like, she dead to me. Like, that lady is dead to me. Like, either she gonna walk this all the way back, or she is dead to me. And I said, I think she dead to you, Candace. And I felt bad for Candace, because Candace even said she got too comfortable with Giselle Bryant. And she did. And the thing is like, a lot of people were like, well, I don't feel bad for Candace. She should have known. Why should she have known? Like, we know Candace was a means to an end, but Candace has said in multiple interviews she really thought that her and Giselle had a friendship because Giselle had her kids around Candace. They let Candace use Candace let them use her car to help teach her kids how to drive. Like, they're coming over her house to kick it and eat food and be around her and Chris's kids, like with her stepkids. It's like, if y'all can say that person means me no good, but if they are in my vicinity and we have a pretty cordial relationship and then this happens, of course I'm going to be taken aback by it. And then I felt bad when she was crying because she was just like, the egg retrieval journey isn't going as well as the doctor had said it was supposed to go. And they were like, stress causes that. And she was like, this situation is stressing her out. And I was just like, yeah, this ain't right. This ain't right. Y'all need to get back to fun shit. Because this ain't right. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic. And hop down in them comments below. Deuces.